Traveling Alone: Why My Best Trips Were the Ones I Took by Myself, by Miwa. I used to think that the best journeys were meant to be shared with a friend, a lover, a family member, someone to laugh with over lost directions or split the last bite of something delicious in a quiet street cafe. And while I've had lovely trips with others, the ones that changed me, the ones that carved themselves into my soul, were the ones I took alone. There's something different about walking into a new city with no one by your side. No one to filter the experience through, no one to talk over the silence, no one to remind you of who you were yesterday. Just you, present, vulnerable, completely open. The first time I traveled alone, I was afraid. Not of danger exactly, but of being with myself for too long. I wasn't used to my own company in that way. I was used to constant noise, messages, obligations, the comforting distractions of home. But when you travel alone, you don't have those. You have space, you have time, you have your own voice, uninterrupted. And that can be terrifying and beautiful. I remember walking through the narrow streets of Lisbon just after sunset, the tiles on the buildings glowing gold in the low light. The city felt like it was humming, softly, just for me. No one knew me there. No one expected anything. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the pressure to perform. Not for others, and not even for myself. I was allowed to simply be. And what I discovered, over and over again in cities and small towns and distant train stations, was that being alone didn't mean being lonely. It meant freedom. The freedom to turn left instead of right, to stay longer in a bookstore, to sit on a bench for an hour doing nothing, to cry without having to explain, to laugh without sharing the joke. It meant I was responsible for my joy, and no one else. There were moments, of course, that ached with solitude, watching a sunset over the Adriatic Sea and wishing I had someone's hand to hold. Sitting in a noisy night market in Taipei, surrounded by strangers speaking languages I barely understood. But even in those moments, maybe especially in them, I grew. I learned to hold my own hand. I learned that I didn't need to be understood by everyone around me to feel connected to the world. I learned that solitude is not an absence, but a richness all its own. Traveling alone stripped away the layers I didn't know I was hiding behind. I learned to listen to my own rhythms, when I was tired, when I was hungry, when I needed beauty or movement or stillness. I learned to trust my instincts. I learned how capable I was, that I could navigate confusion, discomfort, miscommunication, and homesickness, and still find wonder. I met people I never would have spoken to if I'd been with someone else. A woman in Rome who told me her love story while we waited for a bus, a bookstore owner in Seoul who handed me a poem without saying a word, a little girl in Istanbul who smiled at me like we were old friends. When you travel alone, people see you differently. You seem more open, more accessible, more curious, because you are. You're not insulated by conversation or shared agendas. You're just there, present, soft, receptive. And through all of this, I began to meet myself again. Not the version of me shaped by others, but the quiet, unedited Miwa. The one who walks slowly when no one's rushing her, who sits on steps and watches the world go by, who whispers thank you to the ocean, who finds comfort in foreign streets and poetry in unfamiliar skylines. I won't say traveling alone is always easy. It's not. There are moments of doubt, exhaustion, vulnerability. But I will say it's worth it. Because somewhere between the airport gate and the first night in a new city, something happens. The world gets quieter, and your inner world grows louder. And you begin to understand that the most intimate journey you'll ever take is not to a place, but to yourself. And sometimes you have to go alone to find your way home.